Welcome to the Fremont Mills Veterans Day program. We would like to invite everyone to stand and sing the national anthem. And please join in singing along if you wish. Please welcome John Lowry and Jay Johnson to the holding of Sound Your Toes.
Good morning. I was given a few choices of which folding of the flag would be acceptable this time, but since the United States birthday, 250 years is next year, I felt that the Boy Scouts of America folding of the flag would be more appropriate. In honor of the 13 original colonies and our forefathers who founded this great nation, we salute you. To the men who died in the War of Independence, we salute you. To those men who fell in the War of 1812 to preserve our freedom, we salute you. To the brave soldiers on both sides, the North, the South, and the Civil War, we salute you. Those who shed their blood in the name of hope and freedom and Great War, we salute you. For our fathers and sons who died in the battles of World War II, Pearl Harbor, Anzio, Midway, the Bulge, Iwo Jima, Guadalcanal, Normandy, and Berlin, we salute you. For the brave men and women of our armed forces who died in the fields of fire in Vietnam, and whose names will live on forever on that hallowed wall, we salute you. For the Commander-in-Chief who leads our nation in good times and bad, we salute you. For the Scouts of America and all the Scouts that have gone before us, we salute you. To God, our parents, our families who we love and respect, we salute you. To the men and women of the armed forces, the arsenal of democracy and the hammer of freedom, we salute you. And last, to freedom, because without freedom, there is no honor. Without honor, we're not Americans. And on this we vow that as long as this flag flies, we salute you.
When Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner almost 200 years ago, he called America the land of the free and the home of the brave. Those words are as true today as they were then. Throughout this nation's history, America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard men bravely answered the call to defend our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back aggressors. We can never fully repay our debts of gratitude to more than 650,000 American service members who died in battle, or the 1.4 million who were wounded. We can, however, recognize and thank the 25 million veterans still living today.
These words are inscribed in the Korean War Memorial, Washington, D.C. Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered the call to defend a country they never knew and a people they never met. Those words apply equally to many of the World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, and Gulf War veterans as well. They apply to today's active duty service members, tomorrow's veterans, who are helping to maintain peace throughout the world. Today, it is our privilege to say thank you to all American veterans, to let them know that we appreciate them for their service and honor them for their sacrifices. The price of freedom is high. We cannot afford to forget those willing to pay. Today we celebrate America's veterans for keeping this nation the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I have the honor of introducing Master Sergeant Retired J.L. Johnson. Sergeant Johnson served in the United States Air Force from September 2000 to September 2023. At the time of his retirement, he was serving as the Flight Chief of Middle East Operations, 488 Intelligence Squadron, Royal Air Force Mildenhall, United Kingdom. In this position, he led a team of 18 airmen providing high-priority intelligence to answer strategic, tactical information needs for gaps across 3 combatant commands. Additionally, Sergeant Johnson flew as an airborne mission supervisor on 3 variants of the RC-135 reconnaissance aircraft, where he leveraged Joint Chiefs of Staff directed tasking to meet national and theater intelligence objectives. Sergeant Johnson currently works as a defense contractor, training active duty RC-135 crew members. Master Sergeant entered the Air Force in September 2000. He graduated from the Defense Language Institute Basic Hebrew course in December 2001 and the Cryptologic Language Analysis course at Goodfellow Air Force Base in July 2002. His subsequent assignments included various duties as an airborne cryptologic language and intelligence analyst, data link operator, and airborne mission supervisor. Throughout his career, he filled many leadership roles at the squadron and group level, both stateside and overseas. He deployed many times in support of such operations as Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom, Freedom Sentinel, Inherent Resolve, Atlantic Resolve, and Odyssey Dawn. He was a career enlisted aviator with more than 4,500 flying hours. Major awards and decorations are the Meritus Service Medal with 3 Oak Leaf clusters, Air Medal with 1 Oak Leaf cluster, Aerial Achievement Medal with 4 Oak Leaf clusters, Air and Space Commendation Medal with 1 Oak Leaf cluster, Joint Service Achievement Medal, and the Major General Doyle Larson Award for Gold and Silver Medal. We would now like to introduce Sergeant Johnson for his speech.
Thanks, Ethan. And that kid's cool. Somebody raised it well. How many of you, when we moved in last year, heard, oh my gosh, there's this family from England coming in, you guys get so excited, like, they're going to have these cool accents. And they're like, you guys do not have accents. You guys are really boring. I know that happened. We were like, it's totally going to happen. But at least you're really good looking, right? So that was awesome. Especially you, CJ. I was reading, CJ and I were looking at some of the letters and stuff that some elementary kids have written, which is awesome, by the way. I love the spelling. And it reminded me there was a time when I was deployed, and a school had sent us a bunch of those, which was so cool. But one of them stuck out in particular. It said, "Thank you for dying for our country." And I thought, I hope this isn't a premonition. I really hope not. But I did. It was fun. Here I am. I just want to talk a bit about some of the things that I learned in my time in the military that I feel apply to everyday life. First, I want to ask, is any of you right now know, like, oh yes, I am absolutely going to join the military? Is anybody out there? Just raise your hand. You. Awesome. There's some of you. Okay. And those of you who are raising your hand, how many of you know that you're going to make the best decision you can ever make in your life and join the Air Force? Yeah, you're the best. Okay. I know some of you chose, there's some other veterans here, and I see some things, I see someone in an Army uniform, and, made your choices, it's fine. But we all make our choices. But go Air Force. So as Ethan read in my really boring bio, I served in the Air Force for 22 years, and most of that was spent flying on an aircraft called the RC-135. And sometimes you see it, it's stationed in office. Sometimes you see it flying over. It's just a really good-looking aircraft, big, long black nose. Man, it looks good. But if you'll see it, you're like, yeah, that's the one. And it's a reconnaissance plane. That's a word we don't use a lot. So the newspaper usually calls it a spy plane, but the Air Force will be quick to point out spy has a very legal definition that does not all letters, not spy. But the newspaper always calls it a spy. It was cool. I got to do some really, really cool stuff. One of the things I got to do quite often is be involved with other aircraft and other warfighters doing some things to stop bad guys. And one of the things that we would do is something called non-kinetic effects. And the Air Force, the military likes to just use weird words, right? So non-kinetic effects is just a way of saying do bad things, make things bad happen to you without actually blowing them up or hurting them. So that's what that means, right? So you can talk to your science teachers about why would you use the word non-kinetic. It can be a fun lesson. So kinetic effects, things blowing up. Non-kinetic effects, just things not blowing up. Nobody actually getting hurt. So what that is people doing things like jamming communications or sending messages to try to stop the enemy from wanting to fight or even being able to fight. And I think there's a lot of analogies in that in your life. Because I'm sure you guys have all heard different quotes or whatever, analogies that compare life to a battle. And a lot of times it really is, we can feel that way. Like my daughter Emma today said, I go to school every day. And that can feel like a battle, right? Even though Fremont Mills is a place you want to be, there's no place you ever want to be anywhere else, right? Fremont is the best. But sometimes it feels like I gotta go to school. It's a battle. I'd really rather be doing something else, anything else. But here I am going to school. And I pointed out to Emma that I also know what that's like because I haven't been to a lot of schools. So I understand that can feel like a battle.
things are actually really terrible and scary. I want to read to you just a quick quote. This is by a guy named Sun Tzu. And he wrote a book a long time ago called The Art of War. Right? And I see some headlining. It's a great read. Imagine in your English class, you write a paper that would last literally thousands of years. That's what this guy did, right? So he must have been a good writer. He said this: all warfare is based on deception. Hence, when we are able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must appear inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When far away, we must make him believe we are near. So that line, all warfare is based on deception. So if life is a battle, then there's a lot of deception. And some of you have noticed that deception and how it impacts you. Things like scrolling through Instagram or whatever, all your social media, and everybody's life is perfect but yours. That's deception. Nobody's life is perfect. Everybody's going through pretty much the same things you are. But on Instagram, they're like going through the best things ever. You can get this feeling that my life isn't as perfect. I'm not as good. And that's just simply not true. That's that non-kinetic effect, which is having an impact on you. One of the other non-kinetic effects, like I mentioned, was jamming. It's when you try to interrupt the communications of your enemy. So they can't talk to each other, they can't coordinate things, so you want to interrupt those communications. And there's a lot of things that are interrupting communications in your life with the people that are important, the people that matter to you. There's a lot of things that get in the way. Now, these things aren't necessarily bad, but they can get in the way. For instance, this is a true story. One of the ways that we, the good guys, will jam enemy communications is it's not just like overrun their communications with things like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is amazing. But if all you can hear is Taylor Swift, and you can't hear the person that you need to talk to, then it's having that non-kinetic effect on you. So there are lots of things in your life which are fine, but they might be getting in the way. I mentioned social media or video games. I'm not saying these are bad, but if you're having a hard time getting your schooling done or things that are important because you're being distracted by those other things, then that's having a non-kinetic effect on you. But those are kind of innocent. The ones that concern me are those messages that get to you and you're not good. That everyone else is great. You're just not good. And that's not true. It just isn't. You are good enough. One of those non-kinetic effects that we enjoy great effect against the enemy is to make them feel bad. This is called psychological operation, psyops. Just make them feel like you have no love. And sometimes I think we, especially young people, fall into that trap. So what you need to do is surround yourself by allies, right? Those trusted friends and trusted adults who can help you see that you are better than that. And when you can establish those communications, and you can get what we refer to in the military as jam-resistant communications, things that block out those non-kinetic effects. They can help you see things that are better, that are true about yourself and where you are. So seek out those friends, and seek out those trusted adults who can help you see that and be that person for others. So that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in the military is, life is a battle. It can be really hard. But also, it's one we can win when it's sometimes. So, thank you. That was talking to you.
We would now like to introduce the Fremont Mills Band performing a piece titled Americana.
I have been given the honor to read the names of our military heroes who are present with us today. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing if you're able. Please hold your applause until the end. Jay Johnson, Air Force. John Howery, Navy Submarine Forces. David E. Dines, Air Force. David Dines Sr., Navy. Chris Hilton, Air Force. Brandon Orozco, Army National Guard. Travis Corber, Navy. Mike Bowden, Marines. Gary Cochran, Navy. Dale Tomford, Marines. Josh Finnegal, Army. Aaron Victor, Navy. Terry Victor, Navy. Kirsten Hurd, Army Reserves. Cole Kilpatrick, Army. Becky Kilpatrick, Army. Harold Harvey, Army. Larry Gaylord, Air Force. Al Anderson, National Guard. Dan Morse, National Guard. Patrick Taylor, Air Force. Charlene Nichols, Air Force. Steve Nichols, Air Force. Eugene Billingsley, Air Force and Army. Larry Crom, Army. Andrew McCullum, Army. John Lemons, Marines. Jesse Lemons, Navy. Tom Hensley, Army and Air National Guard. Randy Drescher, Army National Guard. Brian Forney, Army National Guard. Jason Gregory, Navy. Norman Crom, Army. Zane Buchner, Air National Guard. Don Tackett, Navy. Harry Beadle III, Army National Guard. Jacob Power, Air Force. If there are any veterans that were not named, please stand. Thank you to these extraordinary men and women.
In addition to recognizing our veterans here with us today, we would also like to acknowledge two of our current students. Will the following students please rise? PFC Cody Drescher. Cody is a senior this year and will fulfill his duty as a member of the Army National Guard after graduation. Ethan Johnson. Ethan plans on participating in the ROTC program at Brigham Young University and then joining the Air Force as an intelligence officer. Please give these knights a round of applause.
High Now, we would like to welcome Mary Howery and Alicia Callahan to introduce the Voice of Democracy and Patriots Pen local winners.
Good morning. Veterans of foreign wars and their auxiliary are proud to sponsor students from Fremont Mills again this year in the high school Voice of Democracy speech contest and in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade program was established back in 1947, right after World War II. This contest provides high school students with the opportunity to express themselves in a democratic and patriotic-themed recorded essay. Our local VFW post can send one winner to the next level contest at district for each 15 students who write for the contest. All these winners have an equal chance at the district contest because we don't count them for second, third year. There are 10 districts in Iowa. Each district will send one winner to the Iowa State Judging, and Iowa will send one entry on to national in Washington, D.C. This year's theme is America Today, Our Forefathers' Vision? Would our Voice of Democracy winners please come up to receive their certificates? First place is Kinley Blackburn. Stay up here so we can take a picture, please. Okay. Second place was Benjamin Johnson. Third place is Catherine Howe. And we have two honorable mentions, Emma Johnson and Bree Scoot. Give me a minute so that you get a picture, please. Each year, over 68,000 students in 6th through 8th grades will enter the VFW's Patriots Pen Youth Essay Contest for a chance to win their share of almost $1 million in state and national awards. This essay contest encourages students to examine America's history along with their own experiences in modern American society by writing a 300 to 400 word essay based on a patriotic theme chosen by the National VFW Commander-in-Chief. Essay contest winners advance to district and state in the same way as Voice of Democracy. Their theme this year is My Voice in America's Democracy. Would our Patriots Pen winners please come up to receive their certificates, and we'll have you stand up for a picture. First place this year is Carson Thompson. Second place is R.J. Wallen. Third place is Dexter Page. Honorable mentions are Matt Crum, William Jordan, Jamie James, and Vivian Wood.
We would now like to have Kinley Blackburn come up to read the paper.
At a concerning rate. We must no longer stand stagnant. We must wake up and remember that our country was built on a foundation of greatness. On the contrary, individuals of our noble nation are becoming caught up in political views and societal norms. Our founding fathers made it possible to speak out against these significant matters. It is without a doubt that each and every one of them are rolling in their graves due to the division and hatred between our fellow brothers and sisters. We, as Americans, often forget that we live the desired lives of humans across the globe. The time is now. We must stop taking our nationality for granted and remember our roots. Let us work together once again to become one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With that, our divided nation will return to the extraordinary land it once was. The gruesome events that shaped America have begun to repeat themselves. Matters such as assassination, trafficking, and warfare are beginning to become of relevance in today's troubled society. Regardless of race or political standing, how can we sleep at night knowing not only fellow Americans, but fellow humans have approached death for the sole purpose of speaking out? This was a given and protected right by our forefathers, and it is certain that they are nothing short of ashamed that Americans are no longer fulfilling their obligation of using their voice. Silence ensures that history repeats itself. If we continue to hide in the shadows, our democracy will be punctured, and nothing worth standing for will remain. The fate of the United States is in our hands. Will we perish under pressure, or will we bend together, united as one, and face the task at hand? The stars have aligned, but it is up to us to return America to the land of the free and the home of the brave. A final consideration is the distinct culture of the United States. Our founding fathers lived in a time where the word equality held no value. These individuals would feel a sense of failure if they experienced some of the happenings of the present day. In their time, a black and white man shaking hands would be disgraceful. A woman standing at a voting booth would be humorous. And a person of color running for office would be considered unthinkable. Our nation has worked through the blood, sweat, and tears to defy the norms of the past. Because of the evolution of equality, our nation is elevated to new heights. Humans, once discriminated against, are now thriving. These indigenous people have continued to set new standards time and time again. As a country, we can proudly say we have proven our forefathers' vision of race and culture to be wrong. All in all, we have learned to lead with love. The great Martin Luther King Jr. once stated, "I have decided to stick with love, as hate is too great a burden to bear." We must carry on with love in our hearts and embrace the challenges ahead. We have traveled a long way to be in this position of peace, yet shall not be satisfied. A united country that embraces change and distinct culture is a country not to be tampered with. However, we allow the United States of America to return to the habits of the past. We must not let old habits haunt our nation, and newfound liberties must not be lost. Will we destroy our democracy by fitting the trends of other countries, or will we stand out in American fashion? Thank you.
Thank you, Kinley. And now we would like Carson Thompson, our Patriots pen, first place.
America's democracy. Some think that happiness comes from achieving lofty goals. However, I believe that happiness comes from knowing that you made somebody else's life better. In the words of Danny Thomas, success has nothing to do with what you gain in life or what you accomplish, it's what you do for others. Our country operates as a strong democracy, which means ruled by the people. This gives me a chance to use my voice in America's democracy. Helping people who are in need in our country is one way to use your voice in America's democracy. If we do things for other people who need it, good things will happen for us. For example, when my dad passed away when I was 6 years old, my friends helped me get through it and showed empathy toward me. This affected me positively because I want to help others in the same way they helped me. At some point in a person's life, they need support and a shoulder to cry on. I will always hope to be that person. I'm grateful to be in America's democracy because we have rights that other countries don't. Americans like me are very lucky to have the rights we have. For example, other countries aren't ruled by the people and they don't get to make decisions. Americans should not take this for granted. I'm very lucky to have this amazing life in America. Knowing that I can always use my voice at any time in America makes me grateful. Even in hard times, you can use your voice because we are in a strong democracy. This democracy gives me the chance to speak up for my rights. Just because you're not as good as someone does not mean you don't have the same opportunities and can't use your voice. These are just some of the ways to use your voice in America's democracy when you're a kid. 66% of people voted in the most recent election. I get to use my voice because we run on a strong democracy, and for that I'm thankful. My dad left me knowing he was always there to be kind and be helpful. If anyone asks him to help, no matter how hard the task, he was there. I hope to use my voice in America's democracy in the same way.
Thank you, Carson, and now we would like to welcome singer-songwriter Carlene Hall for a musical performance.
Being here this morning and honoring our veterans, very close to my heart. Thank you for having me, ladies. Thank you to the National Honor Society at Fremont Hills for hosting this. This is a song that I wrote back in 2012 when the War Memorial in Tabor was dedicated, and it's called Hear Freedom Ring. American soldiers stand shoulder to shoulder so we can hear freedom ring. We take pride in our flag, some brave hearts take a stand so old glory can blow on the breeze. They defended this side of the great name of God so we can fly on eagle's wings and lead. Freedom ring. Great-grandfathers and fathers of them have answered the calling, beginning to end. Brothers and sisters and cousins and friends, we've all held our breath till they're home safe again. Mommies and daddies and uncles and aunts, sacrificing to give us the chance to hear freedom ring. The Marine battle cry, Semper Fi. The Army says this will defend, not for self, but for country. Say the Navy, women and men. The Air Force wings soar out on the wind, aim high, fly wide and win. The Coast Guard always there, always ready to go again and again, so we can give freedom free. They protected this land where we live and we stand, to say in God we trust. When the rivers, the railroads, and highways, and in the face of these dogs. Some don't make it back to enjoy but they must hear angels sing, so we can hear freedom ring. The Marine battle cry, semper fi. The army says this will defend, not for self, but for country. Say the Navy, women and men. The Air Force wings soar out on the wind. Aim high, fly by the wind. The National Guard always there, always ready to go again and again. So we can hear freedom ring. So we can hear freedom ring. All of our veterans and our servicemen, active duty, and the young men here that have committed to go into the armed forces. Thank you. I'm going to do one more for you. My family is full of Marines, and this song was written about my uncle, who was a staff sergeant in the Marines, and he was boots on the ground in Vietnam. And he succumbed to invisible wounds later in his life. But this song it's called American Pride. He left home as a new recruit, brand new haircut and brand new boots in a silver tie, hanging around his neck. He got on the bus with very little inside, standard issue and a whole Bible that promising, especially for this day. He looked so handsome in the green table. Mama waved him on, but her heart was torn and her mind. She still asked why. Have you ever heard the Star-Spangled Banner? Have you ever seen the saints go marching in? Have you ever held a child, the sparkle in her eye? Then you know all about American pride. He stood for his country, and he stood by his friends. He took a shot of his own, and his battle began. And he kissed his ring. They said him home. He got off the plane with very little inside. Quarter pounder shrapnel and that holy Bible, especially for this day. When he came home, he wasn't the same. That war had turned a boy to a man, and his dad was proud. And he heard him say, have you ever seen the Star-Spangled Banner? Have you ever watched the saints go marching home? Have you ever held a child, the sparkle in his eye? Then you know all about American pride.
We are here today to celebrate our veterans, but let us not forget our service members who are no longer with us. Join us now as we bow our heads for a moment of silence to show respect for those who gave their lives for their country. Thank you.
On behalf of Fremont Mills National Honor Society and School District, we'd like to thank all of our veterans and their families for joining us today. This concludes our program. Thank you for coming.
Yes, technical.